Hello, tissue test season is upon us, and I'm just going to go through 5 slides to help you when it comes to submitting your tissue samples. So the first thing is this sheet is a little cheat sheet that Nicole will send out to you that you can print off and have on your desk to help you when collecting samples. First thing to ensure is that you have the submission forms printed off, you have a marker to label the sample bags, and that you have sample bags from us. You want to make sure that the information you put on the tissue bag corresponds with what's on the submission form, so in the event they get separated, they're easily to be able to match up. So when it comes to collecting your sample, ideally you want to collect in the morning before it gets too hot and the plant is stressed. You want to ensure that there's no residue on the plant, and if there is, that you wash it off, set them on the counter to dry before you put them into the sample bag. You want to avoid irregularities. For these tests that Aberhart Ag is paying for, it's to test for the biocell applied fields, and so for that you want to choose from the average area of the field to ensure that your results are as accurate as they can be. We are able to test for irregularities and deficiencies, etc., but that is something separate and not part of the biocell program. Once you collect your samples, you need approximately a softball size, so 2 cups worth of leaves, and you're pulling from the most recently matured leaf. So once you collect your samples, you put them in your bag, then you're ready to send them off to A&L Labs. And when you send them, you want to send them by Purelator, Air Express, so they get there overnight. And you want to send them, if you're using our Purelator labels, then you want to ensure that they're sent by cardboard pure letter. And if you send 5 or more samples, then there's no charge back for the shipping costs. If you send less than that, or you send a different method, then the cost is up to you. Once the lab receives the results, receives the samples, you'll have your results within 24 hours, and they'll be emailed back to you. And I'll show you where that information needs to be put to ensure you get that email back. Now for this form is a little cheat sheet that Aberhart Ag has made, and it's a good one to print off as well because it just kind of goes through the information you need on your submission form. On the bottom right is some crop codes that you're going to need. It's hard to read here, but once you print it off, you should be able to read it. And we have a full tissue sampling crop code guide that is available as well for you to look. So this is the submission form, and this is the important thing that you need to have on your form, as well as you need to have it corresponding on your tissue samples. In the top left, it says submitted by. All that information stays there. You don't need to change any of it. That information is related to the account that these samples are being sent through. On the top right, where it says client grower, this information on the client grower, you can put your name or your retail, your farm, whatever you go by in that spot, and that just helps when the billing comes back to Aberhart, they know who sent these samples in. They may not always know who the growers are, but they know who you are, and they know who the samples are being sent by this way. And then when you get to the first line, it says sample ID. This is where you can fill that information out. You can use it however you want so that you know which field the results are for. The farm ID, this is a good spot to put the farm name, so ABC Farms, and as well as the field. So you can put ABC Farms, northeast of 12-12-3. And that just helps you identify what the field is. Under field ID, we want you to put the year that the biocell was applied. So 2019 biocell, put that in the field. This helps when we get the data back, that Aberhart is able to sort the data and able to see the results based off of the year that the biocell was applied. And the analysis is PT1, so this is already checked off and you don't have to worry about that. The crop, you put the crop name, so this one says canola. And then the stage where it says 334, this is where you have to look at the tissue sampling guide to see what crop it is, and then what stage of the crop, so you know what code to put. This is important that the correct stage is identified, because if not, it's going to skew your results and what the normal ranges should be. Plant part is leaves, so you can leave that selected, and then the appearance is normal. Again, like I said, we're only testing for the average area of the field for biocell purposes. If you have irregularities and you want to test for that, then you can test for that separately. And then date sampled, you put your date in there. So at the bottom right, it says, please email a copy of the analysis to. This is where you have to put your email. If you do not put anything there, you will not get the results sent to you. They'll only go back to the email on the account, which is Dan's email, and then you're going to have to ask him for the results. So to save a lot of time and hassle, make sure your email is in the bottom right of this screen. So again, the PT1 is the code, and that just shows what the test is for. Freight, a reminder, if you have our Pure Later labels, you send 5 or more with our labels, and you send it by Air Express through Cardboard Pure Letter, there's no charge back. If you send it any other method, with our labels or without our labels, the cost is up to you. Here's my contact information. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or you need anything answered. I would be glad to help you out. Thank you.